Alright guys, what's up? This video is about, my Madden League in review. Or our Madden League in review, because this is, hopefully you guys will, in the Madden League watch this, but in case anybody else who's not in the league watches this video, I'm in a Madden League with, a lot of my friends and their friends. And it's pretty fun, actually, to be honest. It's fun. I didn't make the playoffs because, we're in the playoffs now. I didn't make it. I went 7-9. But for the users that made the playoffs, 9 users made the playoffs. That's pretty good. Out of those 9 users, I'm going to rank them from worst to best, in my opinion. So, you guys can disagree with me all you want, but this is my opinion. If I rank you low, prove me wrong, and I'll rank you higher next year. But these are the rankings, and this is my opinion. The 2 number 1 seeds in the playoffs are the Chargers, Tyler, and the Cardinals, Taryn. So let's do the rankings. At number 9, I have Humble Beast. He has the Bucks. In the NFC, they're the 3rd seed. But I don't know much about him. I've never really seen him play. And the times that he's placed against the user, he either lost or got blown out, or I don't know. But I just don't see him making past the 2nd round. I could see him beating the 49ers, because that's who he faces, the CPU. But I don't know. I have not seen him play, so that's why I put him at 9. But he made the playoffs, did something right, did better than I did. So maybe he'll prove me wrong, go on a little run. At number 8, I got Butter, the Ravens. He's also a 3 seed at the AFC side. Now, the reason why I seen him do that, because he, I think he beat Bang a few times, either once this year, maybe twice, but it was a close game, and Bang didn't make the playoffs. I played against him. I should have beaten him. I just made a few mistakes, but I also don't really see Butter making past the 2nd round. I don't see him beating, Malik, Taryn, Tyler. I just don't see him beating these people. So I have him at 8. At 7, I got Malik with the Titans. And last week he almost went 0-16. And then this year he did a little bit better. He's the 2nd seed in the AFC. But he's again, I just cannot see him beating the top teams, top users in this league. He's a good player, but I just don't see him beating the good users. But hey, we'll see. At number 6, I got Bryson with the Raiders. He has, played well this year. He's the 5th seed. I think he has a better, I think he plays better than what his record says. I can see him beating Butter, Malik, Humble Beast. I can see him giving a Tyler for the run of his money for the 1st quarter. But, that's no shade, I'm sorry. That sounded really rude. But, no, I just, like I said, I really cannot see him going far in these playoffs. I just don't know. At number 5, this is where things get interesting. I'm picking Kev at number 5 because he said all throughout this year, saying if he can make it to the playoffs, just watch out. So he's in my top 5. So he made it to the playoffs. So as the 7th seed in the NFC with the Rams. So all right, Kev. You said if I ever make the playoffs, watch out. You made the playoffs. You said that numerous times this year. Let's see what you got to do. You got Bean in the 1st round. Let's see it. Number 4, I got Dev with the Vikings. Now, yes, Dev doesn't have a quarterback. Kirk Cousins sucks. Let's just leave it at that. Kirk Cousins sucks. But the times that Dev faces the users, he plays well. And that's basically all he does this year is play the users. But since this is the playoffs, I can see him playing against the CPU when he has to, because this 1st round he got the Packers. That's the CPU. But I can see Dev you know, giving Bean a run for his money, Taryn a run for his money. So I got Dev at 4. Number 3, I got Bean. I was gonna put him at 2, but when he got killed by Taryn, I had to put him at 3. But Bean has a really good team. He has done very well with the Giants. You know, Derrick Henry is a tough man to stop. He has Daniel Jones playing well. You know, he doesn't have a lot of superstar wide receivers, but he knows how to use them. Golden Tate, he has been doing really well with Golden Tate. You know, using Slayton well, and you know, Sterling Shepard, Evan Ingram. I mean, and his defense is rock solid. So I mean, I can see him going far. Number 2, I got Taryn. Number 1 seed, of course, I gotta have him in top 2. Again, I think he went undefeated this year. Did he? I think. Oh no, he lost 2. He must have not really cared and simmed. I thought he went undefeated, but no, I got Taryn at number 2. Again, he's one of those users that, you know, if he faces Bean again, that's gonna be a really fun game, because I don't think that's gonna be a blowout anymore. I think that's gonna be a closer game. I can even see him giving my number 1 seed and my number 1 in the power rankings, Tyler, Chargers. I mean, that's probably unanimous. Until I could see Tyler lose, I'm picking number 1 every time. Until I see him lose against a user, I'm picking him number 1. But yeah, I can see Bean and Taryn giving Tyler for run of his money. But I still think Tyler's gonna come out and still win. Those are my power rankings. Again, if you disagree with me, I'm sorry. That's just my opinion. Prove me wrong. If I you know, 5 through 9, if you don't agree with my rankings, and you don't agree with where you are, you think you're higher, prove me wrong. Go out there and prove me wrong, and I will. In this playoffs and next year, prove me wrong, and I will be sure to make you higher in the next year's video, next season's video, I should have said. But yeah, this should be a fun playoffs. My Super Bowl matchups, I can see Tyler versus Taryn or Tyler versus Bean. And then I got Tyler winning it all. Now, for the teams that did not make the playoffs, and I'm not going to mention all the users in this league, but I'm going to, give about maybe 2 or 3, possibly 4 teams that either made the playoffs but a low seed or didn't make the playoffs, who need to do the offseason right to be back in the playoffs. First team I'm going to say is the Vikings. Devin. Yes, he's in the playoffs this year, and, if he makes past the first round against the Packers, and he gets to user, I can see him going far in the playoffs because he does well against the users. But for me to count him as a powerhouse, he needs to get a quarterback. Dev, if you watch this video, I'm sorry, but you need to get a quarterback. You need to find a way to get yourself a franchise quarterback, because Kirk Cousins ain't it. If Devin can get himself a quarterback, either in the draft or somehow manage to get a young winner for agency and put a superstar on him, I can really see Devin being a powerhouse. Because, because Devin's got a really good offense. He got Dalvin Cook, who's like an all-pro running back. Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen. I mean, he has the pieces on the offensive side, and his defense is, not terrible either. I mean, he's got a solid defense, but he just got to fix that quarterback side, because I just can't see him being a dominant team every year with Kirk Cousins. I just can't. I'm sorry, Dev. I mean, your skill level is high in Madden. I'm not going to doubt that. I mean, you're really good at Madden, but you can only go so far with Kirk Cousins. I think the only 2 users in this league who I think can be a powerhouse with Kirk Cousins is Tyler and Taryn. Maybe Bean, but I'm saying, Dev, if you want to be a powerhouse in this team, you got to find a way to get a young, very good quarterback, and and you'll be straight. My second team I'm gonna say is Josh. I'm kind of disappointed in you, Josh. I really am. You took over the undefeated Seahawks at the time, and you didn't even make the playoffs. You got Russell Wilson, DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett. You got some solid running backs. You got yes, the O-line may not be that great, but come on now. You didn't make the playoffs with that team. I'm kind of disappointed with you. But I think that if you can do this offseason right, beef up your offensive line, get a franchise running back, maybe get a few pieces on defensive side, I think you can be a dangerous team in this league. But yeah, I'm kind of disappointed in you. Third team I'm going to say is Corwin, Cowboys. I think for Corwin, he needs to, again, probably beef up the defensive side. That's what killed him the most, was the defensive side. I mean, I guess the turnovers. I mean, looking at his team, he took Tyree Jackson, who, I don't disagree with. I mean, he's a rookie. Yes, he was low overall, but once you develop him, he's going to be a monster. I mean, looking at his... he was able to get Tyree Jackson to a 68 overall. But looking at his ratings, he has a 96 throw power, 84 speed. Once he can get the accuracy up, he's going to be a monster. But no, the defense killed him. Yes, like I said, I know the turnovers really did too, but Tyree Jackson threw for 4,204 yards, 36 touchdowns, but 44 interceptions. He's got to limit those. But other than that, he needs to beef up the defensive side. So, I think if Corwin can get himself a few good defensive players, maybe another offensive weapon, maybe another running back, but I think he's going to run with Kareem Hunt and Tony Pollard. But, yeah, he needs to beef up the defensive side if he wants to be a powerhouse team next year. I'm not going to say he's going to be a powerhouse, but I think he can make the playoffs if he can beef up the defensive side. And if I'm going to say a fourth team, I'm going to go with... the Chargers. Not the Chargers. Chiefs. Again, he made a terrible trade, trading Travis Kelce and Mecole Hardman for Ezekiel Elliott, but he still has pieces. He's got arguably one of the best quarterbacks in the league in Patrick Mahomes. He's still got some weapons. But I think he needs to go offensive side this year, because defensive side, he's got a decent defense, but I think if he can get a wide receiver or two in this, free agency or draft, I think he'd be great. But yeah, he needs to get some weapons for Patrick Mahomes. The number one team I think that needs the most help is B.D. Lockett, Dylan, with the Patriots. I really thought he was going to go 0-16, but he won a few games. But he pretty much needs the most help. But who knows? Maybe he'll strike lucky in free agency. But I don't know. I don't know how the Patriots in the near future is going to be a contender for the playoffs. So it may take a few years. I think that for Dylan, if I was him, in this offseason, I would either trade or cut all the people who have the high salary caps and just start fresh. You're going to get a cap hit for 1 year, but, take this next year. Draft well in this year, because you're going to have a high pick. Tank for the next year. Get another good draft pick, and by then, hopefully, you should have a decent amount of cap space, and then build your team with that. That's, I guess, I don't know what you're going to do, but that's what I would do. But yeah. Anyway, I'm looking forward to the playoffs. I'm hoping to see some fun games, and yeah, good first season, y'all. Let's have the same thing for the next year. All right, have a good day.